Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special episode of the Visionary Circle podcast. It is me and my lovely co-host, Mr. Sergio, and we are always trying to when we're bringing guests to this podcast. I think the three criteria are sugar, spice, and everything nice. We brought you guys sugar.
Oh yeah.
We brought you guys spice, and today we present to you everything nice.
I love it. Thank you. That
Logan,
was beautiful.
Logan, a creative director, an entrepreneur, and just a really dope guy.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be here. We already had some emotional moments already, so we had to turn the cameras on because it was getting a little crazy.
It was getting a little crazy.
It was. We had a mini pre-podcast.
We did.
We pre-gamed this podcast.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Logan, it's super nice to meet you, man. You are somebody who you feel like you know them for years, even though it's only been a few hours of talking to each other. I love how you're an open book, but you're also a very good storyteller with the way you tell your stories. So I think this is going to be a fun podcast, and I'm happy for a lot of our viewers who are entrepreneurs and business owners to learn a lot from your journey.
Yeah.
I want to know what's your background.
So I started off in the entertainment industry as a vocalist. So when I was in high school, that's all after soccer and doing that, I played soccer in college and all that kind of stuff. Like, but still, music was like my thing. Like, that was the end all be all. Couldn't tell me anything. Even college, I only went for a year because I told him, I was like, I'm going to go for a year for you, Mom, but I'm going to make it in the industry. So I want to just focus on it. Right. And then American Idol happened and I made it to pass the rounds. And so they flew me out and did all that. And then you really couldn't tell me anything. And then I was like, and it was like, this is it. I didn't make it to where they voted for at that time, which I later realized was the act of God because it helped me to get through doors that I wouldn't have if I would have gotten on there. But so for some years it was just music, and I was living in Colorado at the time, and then went to New York and did my thing out there and had one of those true Hollywood story things happening where someone brought me out and then you find out that they were lying about everything and had you in all the hoods there is in New York. The light bright guy who was always artist ready and wore kukui nuts everywhere. So the hood folks either thought I was undercover or a pimp, you know what I mean? And so it was just a crazy life experience. But anyway, so went from that to I was in a long relationship. It was about 7 years, and we were kind of on that rocky ground of what's the next step. And I had moved to New York for a while to pursue the entertainment. And when I was coming back, I was like, I don't think this is gonna work, with the girl that I was with at the time. And so that must be how girls feel. Is that how women feel? Oh, babe. No, babe. Just a little.
When you're handing them ice cream.
Just a little closer, babe. I'm married, so that's just so we know. Not some random woman, my wife. Just so we know okay. For all the years out there. So when I came back, my parents were like, because me and the girl that I was with, we lived together at the time. They're like, why don't you come back and live at the crib for a while? You have the basement, you can have your studio like you used to down there, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I don't, when you move away from the parents, you don't want to move back. It's almost like you failed at something, And I was like, yeah. After a while, I was like, all right, because the girl I was with was getting a little toxic. And so wound up moving back. And then 3 months later, my parents are like, hey, so we're selling the house and moving to Kuwait, overseas.
Who said that?
My parents.
Kuwait.
Who told me to come back and live at the house. They were like, so at the end of the year, which was 4 months away, they were like, the house should be sold and we're going to go to the Middle East because my dad was doing civilian contracting out there. My brother hits me up and he's like, hey, bro, I've got to go to Afghanistan. I'm getting deployed. So my full family
is in the Middle East.
Was moving out to the Middle East, and I was in Colorado, which Colorado at the time had a very low ceiling for entertainment. And so I was like, okay, should I move back to New York? Should I go to California, where a lot of my connects are, or my friend he did civilian contracting, which actually gave my dad the idea out there. He had a house in Texas, with like a 7-bedroom house. I was newly single, and he was like, "Bro, come out here. You can have." He was like, "I have a 7-bedroom. You can have a room for your studio, a room for yourself, and then all the debauchery we want to get into." And I was like, "I don't know if that's going to be a healthy thing going to Texas because my appetite back then was not as low as it is now, like as a young man, like being like, I'm gonna wild out and have a good time with my guys, you know what I mean? And it was like, felt like God was like, if you go over there, nothing's gonna happen but stuff that's not cool. And I was like, okay.
And this is California.
No, this was Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, because everything would be set up, I'd be basically taken care of. But I had some friends in California that were like, hey, we just feel like we were supposed to hit you up and tell you that you should come stay with us.
What?
And I was like, I literally gave them every excuse I could. I was like, hey, I do studio work, so I'm up till like 4 or 5 in the morning. That's okay. I do night shifts, and and I go to bed early, and we have a room outside of the house for you to do all that. And I was like, okay, but then sometimes I'm gonna be writing sessions up in LA because this was in Rialto.
Okay.
On like the on the good side of Rialto where like the older folks live and it's super quiet. It was right over there, and I was like, so I'm trying to give them every excuse I can, and they just kept being like, no, that's cool. We just, it was a mom and her daughter, and they were like, we need some male we would love to have a male, like it makes us feel more protected here anyway. And I was like, well, I'm coming out there. And this was in 2000. The January 19th is when I moved out, but it was 2008 when the job deficits were horrible, right? And I was like, well, to work out there. And they're like, no, until you get on, you don't have to pay rent. And I said,
all right, you can't say no to all these things. Like, it's way too much. I would have stopped at we need a male figure. Like, just my ego. Like, you need a male, like this guy. Right here.
Yeah. Well, for one, I was like, I didn't know him that well. So for them to open up their home to me was
How did you know them?
Was a thing. I knew him through a music friend of mine in Colorado. When we came out to California to sing at BB King's, like, I met them there, and they just thought I was cool, and they're like, Logan, you're so cool. Like, if you ever come back to California, come look us up, and we'll go out to eat or something. I was like, yeah, sure.
To their defense, I would have done the same the first time I met you because it's so easy. Like, you know what I mean? When I first met you, you make me feel so just like welcome. You already made Leo feel the same way, so I don't blame them for being like, you know what? Let's ask Logan to come over here. He's probably the one I trust.
That.
Yeah,
I appreciate
100%. I thank you for making that comment. It's as crazy as it sounds. It's not far fetched. Knowing you, like just how comfortable you make people feel.
Yeah,
it's not a far fetched thing. But yeah,
I appreciate that. So, so finally, I was like, "Well, I'm running out of excuses. All right, God, if this is where you're gonna have me, that's where I'm gonna go." So I packed up my 2005 Ford Focus to the brim with any little whatever I had for music, and went down there. And it was so like, it was humbling because I was like, "Oh, I'm leaving everything I know, and then I'm going out here and still having to live with people to survive," But at the same time, it was like a relief because it was leaving behind some stuff that I'd been holding on to. Because I'm the type of person, God forces change in my life. Because me, I'm a fixer, right? Like, so I like, if something is going wrong, even if it's to my deficit, I'm like, no, we could fix this. You know what I mean? Like, and then sometimes it's like, God is like, you're in this because you're trying to fix it. And I'm trying to tell you like to get away from it. And then it almost forces the other side to make that happen. So that's what was happening. It was like a forceful like exodus almost, you know what I mean? So I go down there, and the first thing when I go to the house, they're like, I'm like, okay. So they're like, oh, so here you can put your studio equipment in this room. It was an attachment to the house. So it was outside the house where people can't hear anything.
So
a room
full creative freedom.
Studio, all my music stuff. Like I could play it as loud as I want, and no one had an issue, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'll put like a bed here, and they're like, no, we have another room for you, and I'm like, what? And I still get chills about it today, right? So
I'm wondering
they
why
take
you're
me
still
to
not
the
there.
room, and I see all their rooms, right? They give me the biggest room in the house. It's the biggest room at that time that I'd ever been in for myself. And I'm like, God, like,
Yeah.
I was like, no, please, one of you guys, please take this room. Let me get like a smaller room. Like you guys are doing me a huge favor. Like this is even crazy that you guys are allowing me in your home. Like, you know, like let me do that. I'm cool just to stay out there in the heat. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, we are so blessed to have you here. We like our rooms. This is where we were before you came. That's your room. I stayed there for 2 years, bro.
Oh my God.
They would not let me pay rent
Wow.
for 2 years. And like, so I'm like going back and forth doing my thing, whatever. Like it got weird toward the end because I don't think anyone's going to see this that knows that, but like there were feelings there that I didn't reciprocate. Long story short.
Right.
But God used that, and there I was, and then I was, and it was 2008. I couldn't get a job anywhere. Like I would run down to the Subway to get like tuna sandwiches or whatever, right? And I would be like, "Hey, are you guys hiring?" And all my work experiences was music related. So I didn't think about it in California. Everybody's like that out here, right? So when they see that, they're like, well, as soon as you get a gig, you're going to be out of here. You know what I mean? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, you're right.
Yeah,
But the second thing, I'm like, that's crazy. I can't even get a job making sandwiches, you know? So it was like God was, again, like he did with my leg, was like focusing me on like, focus on your craft, focus on what you have to do. I've given you a blessing so you don't have to stress on this stuff. When the job market is down, when everything's crashed, I still got you. So then I met this person at church in Diamond Bar, and she was she owned like her dad owned like a karaoke business, and so he was like, she was like, hey, I know you don't have find work. She was like, you're super talented, like you're dope. Like, would you ever do karaoke? And my pride was like, are you serious? I've sang all over the world. I've done it, like, you know, like karaoke. And it was like God was in my mind. He was like, how are you going to pay for this meal? And I'm like, you're right. So we started doing that. And long story short, I wound up having a karaoke company in downtown, karaoke business in downtown Los Angeles, where in Japantown, where everyone around the world would come to because it was like a tourist attraction. And it was, have you ever been to Japanese Village Plaza?
No.
Okay, so it's in Japantown, right? And it have a big stage.
We need to go there.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now it's kind of anyway.
Okay.
So like it had this place like that had like these really big umbrellas and everything there, and it was outside right in the middle of the plaza. And they contracted me to be there, and I was there till the pandemic, right? And it was huge. Like I was the kind that's why it's not hard for me to talk, because mine was a different kind of karaoke. For one, like all of us here, I'm a perfectionist with what I do, right? So the sound system was great, which is, and usually at karaoke, it's like these muffled speakers, so people are drunk. It was for the whole family because it was outside on a big stage. And my thing was, because I could sing and I've been doing it my whole life, I would always tell people like, all right, this is Heck Yeah Karaoke, where everyone
That's
can
the name
sing.
of it? Heck Yeah
Yeah, it was
Karaoke?
Heck Yeah Karaoke.
That's cool.
It's a good name.
And I would say, all right, guys, so let's give you a few rules. Number one, like whether you're the best singer in the world or the worst singer in the world, you're all going to get it. Like, and they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, so don't get your feelings hurt. If I roast you or whatever, it's nothing personal. It's just to make everyone feel comfortable to know that we're all on the same playing ground. And that's what's a blessing, when you know God gave you the talent, so you're not scared if a good singer comes or if someone that's not there. You can level it out for everybody.
Yeah.
So people would come from all over, like, I heard about this place and I just came here for you to roast me.
Hey.
And so I would just like,
Cool.
so they'd be singing.
It's like
I'd be
Steve Aoki
saying,
with the cake.
yeah,
I
exactly.
just came here to get cake.
Yeah. And so they''d come around, and it was really popular, and it was crazy how that worked too in that plaza. When they were doing it to try it out because their business was low in the community, and they're like, we need to figure something out. And the property manager was like, I found these guys in Anaheim, because we were at what's that one place that had karaoke? It's in Yorba Linda. I don't know. But anyway, it was like this random like little food place that would have karaoke on like Fridays and Saturdays, and we started doing that, and they saw us there, and the guy was like, "Would you ever come up to L.A. and do some work?" And I was still in Rialto, and I was like, "I mean, sure, we could try it out." And we go up there, and he did like a tryout thing, and he didn't know that you had to have a music license to have like out, if you're going to be playing out in the community, you have to have like, it's like $10,000 to, you know, play or do karaoke or whatever, because it's almost like giving royalties in a way. And so they didn't want to pay it because they were like, "That's $10,000. We love you guys." But, you know, well, when I left, their gross went down by half.
Whoa.
So they hit me up and they said,
"Here's $10,000."
They said they were like, "We paid it. We're so sorry that we let you go. I'll pay you double what we were paying you. Will you come back? You brought business too. So now all the business owners are actually paying for you to be here."
I am. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And so that built up for the whole 10 years, and it just got bigger and bigger.
Now, during
and
that
bigger.
time, are you living rent free at this place? Or this is after?
For the first 2 years, no. After that, then I moved up to L.A.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha,
yeah. I moved to L.A. and got a place in Koreatown.
Okay, okay.
Across from MacArthur Park.
Yeah. Leo does a mean John Legend, by the way, for karaoke.
Oh,
so.
shoot.
I'd love to get your critique.
Yeah, let's do it.
It would be great.
I'll do it.
Hey, how it works, bro, when I look over at you and you just do it. Wait, that was before. So when the pandemic happened, so in that term, I've always been like a visual guy. Like our things with my family, we would every Friday we'd go to the movies, or you know, like I loved seeing like visual stuff, but I never thought in my mind like that I was going to do that. But I loved seeing all that. Like, and so I bought my first camera in California, the Nikon D5100, and started taking like little doing shoots or whatever, and was like, "Oh, this is cool, this is fun," and started getting pretty good at it. Then got like some constant lines, you know, them cheap ones that you get, like the little combo, and they bring you like the little, and it's the 3 bulbs in there, and started doing that, you know, the old school way, like continuous light, boom, boom. Trying to figure out my diamond of what the camera is, the ISO shutter speed, and you know, all that. And I'm like, all right, and got it, and was starting to get good at it. I was like, oh, this is cool. And in that realm of time, I started doing more work with studio stuff and singing. So everything was started like it was coming together. And then I started writing music for TV and film, and it came from. I feel like the story. It is. Is this making a good track?
Love this, bro.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
I mean, like, is it making sense? Like, it's not going off too much in the deep end.
No,
right?
I love it.
Okay.
I can't. When did you get that? Like, what was the time frame? What year was it when you got the camera and stuff? Because I remember meeting you at a wedding with Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was way before that I got that, because that's
Okay.
when I had a Sony at that point.
Okay,
But,
gotcha.
that I got the camera stuff probably in like, because I moved out to California in 2008, so I want to say maybe 2010.
Okay.
Ish, yeah. And started seeing like, oh, this is cool, and just with the kit lens, and then finally got a little nifty 50 on there, and then I was like, oh, bokeh, this is crazy, and was pretty good at editing, and so that started formulating some things, and I was like, this is cool. Started doing like little shoots here and there, like just for fun, and then so there's that in the back of my mind, but I'm still focused on this music thing, right? So.
And at the same time, you're meeting all these creative people as you're doing the karaoke stuff and the photography thing. Because I assume when you moved over here, you didn't really know a lot of people.
No,
and you just started building connections.
Not in the visual world. In the music world is when is why it came out, because I knew more people than Colorado that could actually go somewhere. And so I had linked up with a label and was writing with like a production partner, and we were just doing stuff back and forth, writing for folks. And out of that was this guy who he was the fiance of this girl that we were writing this a couple tracks for, and she was like this real prominent choreographer in like the industry. She did like Aaliyah and Justin Timberlake and all that kind of stuff, and so she was like wanting to do her own album, like so she could do like have her dancers do her thing or whatever. She was actually on that Rock the Boat video, like way back in the day. She was one of them, like yeah. And it was funny because the producer that he produced a track and I was writing it. He remembered her because he was like, I had a crush on her when I was younger. Like I remember seeing her in the video and be like, that girl right there. Like, and we were working in the studio with her. Her fiance was in. He was a composer for like films and stuff. Like, and he's like, hey Logan. He knew we were partners, and he didn't know. You know, like where some people they only work with their partner. They don't veer out because it gets weird or whatever. But me, we were like, no, it's cool to write. It's whatever. And he was like, hey, will you ever do like I do this stuff for like TV and film? Would you ever like write for that stuff, or it's just like exclusive? And I said, no, we're cool with that. Like if you need something, let me know. Then hit me up 3 years later, it's 2013. I get a random call from this guy. I don't even know what the number is. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, hey, is this Logan? And I'm like, wow. Yeah. And he's like, bro, you remember Lisette Bustamante? He was like, we did some, you did some real cool stuff with there. And there's this thing that we're doing for Belvedere, which I haven't even heard in such a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they need this thing sung. And you got, I just remember your arrangements. And it was like that. And then we just started doing all kinds of that, right? So I was like, oh, this is different because when writing for artists and in the game, like you don't get paid until it gets sold. And then even after it gets sold, you don't get paid until the royalties come after they put it out. Wow. And that's depending on how many royalties they give you because, you know, I don't know if you remember back in the day when they had the CDs and they would show all the people that were on it. Most of the time, only a third really even wrote on the song. But all those people are put in there because they're this person's manager or they're this person or they were in the room and you got to appease that like a famous artist now where you'll hear like, no, they didn't write anything, but because they're in the room and they're singing it, we have to give them royalties, you know.
An honorary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for this composing and working with these composers, I get paid for my time. So it was like, so even if it didn't get picked up, I got money for it because it was like, okay, you get money for your time, but if it gets picked up, this is the buyout price or this is a royalties you get. And so I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. So, because all this other time I'm like starving artist, you know, trying to get by, like trying to, you know, like with gas, like if I could probably get from Rialto to here, but how am I going to get back to the, you know, whatever, sharing gas with the producer, all that kind of thing. So for it to be like, wait, you're actually, there's worth in me, you know what I mean? Like if there's
start to see value in yourself.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, just value in my time.
Yeah,
because that was when, again, like I looked at that podcast from the last one. When you're like just trying to find your way, and you're like, $200, yeah, I'll do it. You know, whatever. When I should have been getting paid like boom, way boom. More. You know what I mean? Especially when you see what they do pay the other ones, and you're like,
wait a second,
I could do better. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it started getting to this point. There is an end to the story. It started getting to a point where I was starting to get burnt out on music because I've been, at that time, it was almost like 20 years that I've been in it, like since high school, like trying to make things happen and singing over here and flying over there and doing all this stuff. And then I met my wife, who was funny how we even met because I was doing a show. I was singing at this person's birthday party, and I met this guy there. His name was Justin, who real like kind of black excellence kind of guy, like where, you know, he has all his masters and has all his everything. He was an actor, but he was a motivational speaker, did books, all that kind of thing. And when I had sung, he was like, when I came back down, he was sitting at the table that we were at. He's like, bro, I saw you, and I did not expect to hear that come out of your mouth. And me, you know me, Sergio, I'm crazy. So I just start clowning, and we start playing around. He's like, this guy's crazy. Logan's crazy. I love this dude. And so, like, we started being cool. And so he had asked me out of the blue, he was like, bro, I need a huge favor from you. And I was like, what's up? He's like, can you sing at this production that I'm doing? And at the time, this is when I started getting paid for my time, doing all that. I'm starting to feel myself like, no, there's value in what I bring here, sir. There's value in what I bring. And so I don't do things for free, right? Like
Right.
I was that like
Cough,
yeah.
Sergio, get the paycheck ready.
Exactly.
This,
It was like,
this whole
we
thing
gotta-
is not for free.
No, I was like, I don't really do things for free in my mind. And for some reason it was just like, it's not a big deal, do it, you know. And I'm like, it's just one song, fine. Then he tells me what it is, and he's like, it's for a Black History production at my church. And I'm like, okay, bet. Like, you know. So I go, and it's like this, like it's in the hood, like it's off of Manchester, all that kind of stuff on the other side. It's in there. It's like a predominantly Black church, which I'm mixed, so I know that whole life. I'm from Kentucky too, like originally, yeah.
Whoa.
So yeah, which is a whole other story.
What are you mixed? What are your two ethnic backgrounds?
We'll keep it with just black and white, but there's a little bit of everything in that black and white. But yeah, like my grandpa was almost like 80% Native American. Like he didn't have his first pair of shoes, so he was 17.
Whoa.
Wow.
He used to hunt in the woods, like, and I still, and I'm on my white side, they still eat squirrel and rabbit and do all that
Where?
kind of stuff. Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so
You
crazy.
never had squirrel?
From Appalachian Mountains kind of thing all the way down, you know, like,
Wow.
And then my black side is on the other side where you got like pimping and all this, you know, like hood stuff too. But it all under the guise of super country. Everybody's super country. Like, so, yeah. And we can get into that later, but those are some crazy stories that'll make you like,
Brother, that's
goosebumps go crazy.
so cool. Can I jump in real quick for
Yeah.
this? Yeah. So, origin story. That was an amazing origin
It
story.
was.
real quick though,
Incredible.
Yeah.
because it didn't get to where I am now.
Run it.
Just have a little
Run
bit
it.
more.
Go ahead.
Okay, so from that show, right? So we go over there, and
The church, right?
yeah, at the
Okay.
church, and it's one of those like, you know, long gospel names that they play about, like this Episcopal of this, but things, and I'm like, okay, and they're like, park here, don't park your car over there, kind of thing, like, or it's gonna get touched, and I'm like, where am I right now? And so we go, and I go in the church, and I see this woman on the floor, and she looks like she has attitude, right? So I'm like looking at her, I'm like, and she's doing this or whatever, and I'm like, what is she doing? And I'm like, okay, hey, I'm Logan. She goes, hi, I'm Nicole, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So she's like, goes back to doing her thing, right?
Yeah.
Later on, she always gets mad when I say it, but later on, she was choreographing in her head, and she was in that zone or whatever. And unbeknownst to me, she was doing a favor for him too, doing the choreography, and she was on that tip too, where she didn't really do anything for free, and she was doing something for free, and didn't know she was going to be choreographing kids at this thing.
Wow.
So she's in her mind, like, you know, trying to get things together because it was right
Last
before
minute.
everyone was going to come to meet everybody. So we go, and it's so funny how people are. But so we go, and the people that are going to be singing, you know, like stuff come, and they're like, hey, so this is Logan. He's going to be the one when we come out of the Million Man March singing A Change Gonna Come. So I said, bro, I don't mean any offense by any of this. And I said, but I'm the lightest dude in this church, and you want me to come out leading the Black Revolution of Come? I said, what does that look like? It's literally what they've talked about. Like, I was like, I'm going to be on the side over here singing A Change Gonna Come, and one of you darker folks are going to be over here like ushering this in. He's like, bro, everybody knows you're half black. I was like, it does not matter. I said, it looks
It's a visual
weird.
thing.
I said, it looks weird. I said, no, we're going to do that. And so everybody's laughing. They're like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, no. I'll be over here. And so Nicole's seeing that, and she's like, okay, he's kind of crazy. He's kind of cool, whatever. And the people there, and she'll tell you, if you ask her, she'll be like, you know, it's so Logan. So they were like, because whatever happens with me usually with music, and this is how I got in the game, was I would sing to someone real quick because I knew that I didn't look like how I sang, right? So when I was younger, it was like a quick, like, want to hear me sing? Want to hear me sing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You offer it real quick.
Yeah, it was like, and they'd be like, but when they hear me sing, they'd be like, oh, shoot, I didn't see that. Well, now I'm way past, when you get older, now it's not like, hey, take out your camera and take a picture of me. You think you could do that? And you're like, I'm good. Like, my client's over here, but thank you. Set up a time, but we can, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
There's a paywall now.
Yes, exactly. So he's like, Logan, will you please sing them like a verse or whatever? And I'm like, dude. And he's like, please. Like, I just want them to see what they have. And it was like, fine. So I sing. Nicole said 3 people got up and walked out and was like, if we're gonna be this good, I can't do that. And I was like, no, guys, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, no, I didn't know that we were gonna be doing that. Sorry, client.
If it's urgent, you can take it.
No, client.
Really, if it's urgent, go for it.
No, it's not urgent.
Oh, okay.
I hope he doesn't.
You have to put him on speaker though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get a cut.
You don't have to cut. You pay me what I'm worth. No. Do you hear me? You can't hear anything that's on there. So at the time, I was with this Puerto Rican and Mexican chick who was very introverted, and from that show, there was 4 core people that were in it, and we started doing these potlucks. And then it started being like a bigger potluck where people that were ethnic were coming together, just having a good time, and like they were in the business or whatever. And the girlfriend that I had at the time, she wouldn't come. Like, she was like, oh, those are your friends, and I don't want to, and I'd be like, okay, it's up to you. And so me and Nicole, we were just friends. Like, it was literally nothing more than friends. I thought she was really cool, just like the other people. Well, after me and the girl that I was with broke up, some months after that, I started seeing Nicole, and I was like, and something like clicked, and I was like, oh, she's fine. I was like, wait a second. She got
prettier?
I was like, yeah. I was like, wait, she's a upstanding woman of God.
Yeah.
Like the only and not talking about like politically, but one of the only conservative girls that I had met in like with just the way she believes in things, like how, like even down to putting like a sweater over her booty because she didn't want anyone, to think that or objectify her or anything, like not, like
100%.
Which in LA, that's like it's the total opposite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, who is this girl? Like, is this really who she is? And so I started thinking about it. So I emailed her and I go, hey, I think it'd be cool if we hung out one of these days. Are you cool? That's how much we were friends. I didn't even have her number. Just had her email. So she hits me back 3 hours later and she's like, yeah, we should hang with everybody. Like, that'd be fine like we do. And I'm like, okay. Well, I said, no. I hit her back and I go, no, I was thinking maybe just me and you, if that's cool. And she was like, 3 hours later again, right? So she's me up. She's like, don't you think we should like get with everybody? Like, I'm gonna send you an invoice.
Her last email.
I'm gonna send you an invoice. Is this on?
Yeah, nice and close.
All right.
Make sure you hear.
Just making sure.
This is gonna be an expensive episode, bro.
Yeah. So unbeknownst to me, like she was calling our mutual friend, like, hey, what's up with Logan? Like, what it's. I think he's trying to hang with me. Like, is he with somebody or is he da? And me, I'm hitting him up like, hey, what's up with Nicole? Like, she like whatever, like is she? And he told me, which I wonder if he'll still say. He was like, oh yeah, she dates ball players and da. And I was like, huh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm not in that lane. So finally, I go, all right, God, I feel like this is from you, but if it's not, then I'm going to put it plain so that she knows. And so I go, hey, so if this is because you think I'm still with my ex, like we haven't been together for months and I just think you're cool. I don't want to ruin a friendship because I think you're awesome. But if it's not that, if it is the girlfriend thing, we haven't been together. This isn't a rebound thing. This is just, I think you're really cool. 3 minutes later, she hits me back and goes, what do you want to do? And And so the first date I took her on was
Don't lie. You saw that, you jumped around, you said, yes, let's go.
No, I was just like, okay, cool. I'm not crazy because I'm very paranoid of how I come off to people. Like, I don't want people to think like he's trying to get me or he's trying to, he's weird. You know what I mean? I was no, I don't want this to be weird. After, like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So it was like a relief more than anything. And then, so our first date, we went to go hiking at the observatory.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't want any pressure. So there's people around. She doesn't have to feel like, oh, I see what this is, Yeah. And I always tell people we've been climbing that mountain ever since. But
so poetic.
So from that, like from knowing who she was, knowing the type of person she was, this is how now all this story comes to where I'm at today, right? So with the visuals and all that. So she was a dance teacher.
Bless you.
Bless you.
She was a what? I'm sorry?
She was a dance teacher.
Dance teacher.
Yeah. So like at a high school, she was like their actual dance teacher. And so, 6 periods throughout the day, all that.
Wow.
At Linwood High School.
Okay.
And so a little underserved community, all that, and they didn't have mirrors. And it was for like she'd been working there for 5 years and they didn't have mirrors. Hey, everybody, he got really emotional. He got really emotional and had to leave. So
after he broke that camera.
This stuff isn't for the faint of heart. I just want you to know. So I'm going to get to the mic a little bit.
Sorry, bro.
No, you're fine. You're fine. He's been emotional this whole time.
Oh, man.
He has been. Yeah.
I've been emotional. Honestly, bro, your story is so... like you say it very lightheartedly and in a beautiful, optimistic light. But I know how you felt in every phase that you went through, bro. Like when you're talking about this stuff, like it hits so hard because you can sit here comfortably and in hindsight, like talk about it and this is what happened, this is what happened. But in every one of those steps, you had no idea what was going to happen next.
No.
And that uncertainty, man. Bro,
Speak on it. Speak on it. Very real.
That uncertainty. That fear. I have a lot more questions, but I want to make sure that you concluded.
Yeah.
Like, do you?
Almost done, I promise. Yeah. So when I saw that she didn't have these mirrors, she's like, and they would promise it to her every year. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you have a dance class with no mirrors?
Right.
And we knew that they had like a $90 million budget for that school, right? But they put it all into the sports. Mm-hmm. So as we've been fighting for our creative freedoms for years, them taking it out of schools and all that kind of thing, it was like one of that kind of thing where it was like, oh, it's dance, like whatever, it's not making us money or making the parents come, so whatever. And so I was like, we need to get you some mirrors. And this is when we first started dating. And she was like, I've tried it for like 5 years. Like they even measured, like they come out and measure and be like, okay, yeah, we'll have someone over here. And then it just falls by the wayside. And I said, that's so demeaning to the kids because they're already in an underserved community, and then someone promises something, they get excited, and a lot of these kids are used to those promises that get like messed up, and that's why people don't leave the area. They just keep shrinking in themselves because they're like, I'm not better than where I'm at, so I'm just gonna stay here and do what my parents and my uncles and all that stuff have done before.
5 years, that's 5 senior classes too, that didn't get the mirrors and all that.
Yeah. And so I go, we're going to get you those mirrors. And she was like, yeah, I feel you. But and she was like, I'm kind of tired. And I said, then let me take it on. I was like, I'm going to follow you guys everywhere and I'm going to document everything. I said, I'm going to, and I'd never done real video, like, right. Like I'd done like little playing around things, like shooting some camera stuff, like or whatever. But I hadn't done like real, like let's edit and do like a 7-minute mini doc, And I'm like, we're gonna do it, because she was one of those inspirational teachers that would take them out. So she got them to perform at Disney, at the StubHub Center, at like the all kinds of, like at AMDA, at all kinds of different things.
She had a passion and she cared for these kids.
Yeah, she did, and she took them to like, some of them hadn't even been to like the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We took them there and like had them walk around, and they're just like
inspired.
Whoa. And they've been living in California their whole life, but like they just never got out of that region, right? Yeah. So I was like, this is inspirational stuff. I said, if people see this, they're going to want to donate to it. I said, we just have to document it. And she's like, well, I'll let you take the lead, and whatever you need from me, just let me know. So started following around with the Nifty 50. I had gotten a, no, I think was it the Nikon still? No, I bought a Canon T4i.
T4i.
I got had a deal with the guy, Canon T4i. He gave me like in a Nifty 50 with it.
So this is like 2015?
This is 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. 2015.
Yeah. I got the T3i 2014.
Yeah, 2015. So a friend of mine that I had wrote music with, she was working for Light Panels. The Light Panels, that brand. And I was like, hey, I know that you guys let like people borrow the lights to like try them out and see. Can I have a shoot and I will put them and say their name, but it's for this thing. Can I use them? So they let me use a 3-point lighting system that they had, like soft boxes, all that kind of stuff, right? So we kind of upped the game, and everything. That with it, lighting is literally the number one thing when it comes to visuals. Like besides all that. So
right.
And you can use whatever camera as long as it's lit right.
Right.
You'll get a good image out of it. So my thing was like, I got the name for it. It's gonna be called Can You See Me? And I said, because my whole premise when I would host their shows or whatever, it's like I tell them, I say, just because you don't live in Santa Monica or Beverly Hills or any of these other places doesn't mean you're not just as important as anyone else. I said, we see you. We just got to show them who you are.
Yeah.
So put this thing together. I had the kids go out, did one of those like, remember them commercials back in the day for 25 cents a day, and that little fly would every time would be like right here, like help, you know what I mean? Help us, 25 cents, you know what I mean? And it'd be the kid like this. I had them all. So I started with the kids, and I'd say, I need you to say, "Can you see me?" So each one would be like, "Can you see me?" And then I'd go to an adult, like somewhere in some weird wherever, like at the gig, at the thing, and I say, "Can you see me?" It's for this thing, and then. So I'd be like, "Can you see me?" And then, so it's all these different walks of life. And I just did this whole thing, showed, now I'm getting emotional. But, because it was a beautiful thing, and it really started the track on what I'm in. So, I just showed them their life. You know what I mean? Like, these are kids. And you guys are shortchanging them, and they're going to take this with them for the rest of their life, And I just saw the importance of what this would be for them. So put it together like a 7-minute short thing, Can You See Me? Ran it through, showed them all the shows, did everywhere they had been, like these different things, like even saying like, hey, I mean, at the end, I had them like, all right, guys, do the movements. And so someone was put up like a vanity mirror, like it was this. And I was like, this is what you got. Make it work. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? Like to the person that's watching, I'm like, you guys can all see each other, right? You can see each other with this little vanity mirror, and they're like trying to dance and they're like, I can't see. And I'm like, I can't. And then, so we debuted it at the Christmas concert. So I did the whole thing, the whole spiel, like, hey, we're going to get this. Tell everybody, let everybody see it. And we're going to play it right now. Boom, boom, boom. Did it. People were bawling their eyes out in the theater. This woman got up herself and said, I had no idea my wife's sister was working like the ticket booth or whatever, her and her mom. And this woman dropped 3 stacks, $3,000, and was like, I can't, like, this is so crazy. And we needed 14,000 just for the mirrors, but it'd be 18,000 if we got the ballet bars, right? So I'm like showing it to all kinds of people. People are, we did a GoFundMe, made about $4,000. And one day, one of the kids' aunts, she was a hairdresser, and she's doing the superintendent's hair. And she goes, hey, have you seen this video that my nephew, his class did in? And he's like, no, let me see. Said he starts tearing up in the chair. And he goes, they don't have mirrors? And she's like, no, we've been trying to get it for years and he won't. He goes, hold on. Calls. They pay the whole thing.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. So my first public piece was a philanthropy piece, and it changed my life. And it was right when I like needed a change, like from music. And I was like, God, I'd been praying. I was like, God, I'm getting so burnt out. Like I need something else. And this whole time I had no idea that he was training me to be in production. Like that whole thing was a training period. Like every shoot that I did, every lighting mistake, everything that I was learning, all the apertures and ISOs and shutter speeds and all that, I'm learning this for these kids so that they can have a better future and show like if people say, like there are people out there that if they say something, that's what they mean. You know, like no matter what's going on in your home, because these kids come from like super messed up cribs where being molested and like all these horrible things happening to them. So they're used to false promises and false like stuff in their life. And me and Nicole were real adamant, like I don't want that to be this. I want them to see like if they really work hard, as cliche as it sounds, if they really work hard and do what they need to, God will provide the rest, right? And he so did that. And it really like jump started this thing where I was like, whoa, this is powerful. Like this stuff isn't just like, oh, I really like the way it looks, or I really think this is really fun or whatever. I'm having a good time. Like this is like life-changing, formative. And those kids, when they saw those mirrors, bro, I did not know it was going to be like this today. It was life-changing because you saw like a hope answered, right? Like it was like is this happening? They're screaming, they're like hugging each other, like hugging us, like it was like, and it was so crazy because Nicole was having such a hard time at this school, like she was not good, like the people weren't treating her right, all this kind of stuff, and she was already out the door. And it was so crazy because how God works in that sense of humor. Her next job was in Santa Monica. I just said, just like Santa Monica, you're just like Santa Monica, you're just like these other things. And God was like, you're going to leave a parting gift because you said you're going to do this. And he used my name in it too. Like, so we're going to give them this parting gift and I'm going to let you go and do what your next step, but you're going to leave them with hope. And that's what we did, man. And like, after then it changed my life. And it really brought me full circle because I was like, oh God, you're so awesome, because it's still in a creative field. I tried the corporate thing, like didn't work for me. I felt like I was dying when I was working there for the year. And it really like showed like just another talent that I had that I didn't really know, but it could really change some things. And then when I started seeing like how the music and the visuals together are like impactful, like it changed my life, man. And like so now I come and like even now, like this project the other day for like 15 G's, like just editing like this 30-second thing, and I'm complaining, right? I'm like, oh gosh, I keep coming back with this. I felt like God was like even like what I was telling you with my leg before we started, like, are you serious? Do you remember where you went, like where you were fighting like to even like raise money, this much money for someone for a mirror? Like, you got it. I gave it to you. And I'm like, you're so right. So I have to constantly remind myself like how full circle I've been and how God has brought everything together. And so as far as production wise and all that kind of stuff, like that's where it started, man. And so that's how I felt with my wife too, like on some deeper stuff. Like any other relationship I was in, I started off intimate. And so you get these feelings and stuff that probably wouldn't have been there if you would have felt out the person and seen like who they are with your personality and all that. And so you'd be fighting for something that wasn't supposed to be fought with. You just went somewhere earlier that you shouldn't have. So with Nicole, God forced it that I didn't have that start off with intimacy. It was straight up friendship. It was totally platonic, nothing. And he's blessed my marriage, my relationship, my life, my career. And so with filming, that's how it was. He was like, let me start you off on a good path. This is how you're going to start this career. Like, your first thing isn't going to be about you at all. Like, where my artistry, I was an artist. It was all about me, right? Like, it was like, oh, I wrote a song, hear me. Like, I'm going to be singing here. I'm going to be doing that. Not necessarily it was super vain, but there was, of course, some kind of pride in there. Like, I need to be the best artist I can be. But God had it in his sights to be like, I want people when they see your stuff to know there's me in it too. You know what I mean? And so this is where it starts. And so that is me as a creative, like where that journey came from. And I know it was a long roundabout, but I wanted you to see how there was this the whole time, even though I felt I was going like this, it was this the whole time. And I had no idea. So I always think about it like, you know how you have hills and valleys, right? So sometimes we think that we're going like this, but I feel like sometimes God like puts the sand in the valley. You know what I mean? And so it might be a little bit slower because in sand, you know, you like kind of move.
Right.
But we don't know that sand, it used to be a valley that we would have to like be in and be a lot longer. But God's like, I'm going to let you chill here for a little bit. It's going to feel like long, but I filled up that hole for you. So you don't have to like mess with it. So I'm just going and I'm like, oh, it's a little rough here. It's a little rough. And God's like, you have no idea how rough it was. I put it down for you.
Right.
And that's where I'm at, man. And that's how my life has been. Like anything that ever happens to me, my first thing is like I get a couple hours of like, oh God, what's going to happen? And then it's an immediate like, man, I remember when this was this is God's going to do it again. And so that's where I'm at, man. That's been my journey, and God's blessed me. And I know that it only came from him because I didn't go to school for it. You know, Will always talks about, he's always like, man, dude, I went to school for this. Like, and I need you to teach me, like, what is this? Like, And he's like, I don't know. He said, when I met you, man, I just saw it. Like, and he's really one of the bigger reasons why film, like, was also because he saw it. Because he was a good friend of Nicole's. Like, they knew each other since they were like 14.
I want to get him over here as well.
Yeah. And he saw it and he was like, man, do you think Logan would ever go like do some weddings with me or whatever? And she was like, you can ask him. And so I went and I met you. Yeah. I don't know if that wasn't the first one. That was like a few right. 3 or 4 in.
Yeah. I remember that. Where we were, it was in Long Beach.
That was a cool one too,
it was
wasn't
a cool
it?
One.
Yeah, the dancers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he got me like and got me in that path, and I always thank him for that. Like, and he's like, dude, I just saw something and would just let you do your thing, and I was like, but you saw it, and you didn't do the pride thing where you're like, oh no, you stay over there, or you hold my back. You know how you said in the last podcast, like with your, like you're holding all this stuff. That's probably where that situation come from. Yeah. But it wasn't like that. He was like, hey bro, just make something cool. I know you're going to make something cool. And so having those people on the way. But you know what's crazy about my journey artistically, and then we'll go on to something else, is I never had mentors. Like, no matter, like, you know how everyone goes, someone mentored me and I went to there and did it. I have always wanted them my whole life.
Interesting.
And I feel with my life, what happens is, I think it's more of God wanting the glory, because I would get with people like that. I knew I was killing it in some form, or I knew and they'd be like, oh, you're really dope. And then it'd be like I don't know. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, I'll work for free. I'll do that. Oh, you don't need to work for, or even singing. They'd be like, you don't need to be doing background. You need to be in front. And I'd be like, no, but I'm saying I have no problem. There's no like, so for some reason in my life, the mentor situation has never happened. And as much as I tried. And so that's why I feel like God is like, because no one can say they did it but me, meaning God. And so that's why I can never be like, I built myself up to this and I'm this amazing this or that. It's like, man, I learned with my leg, it could be taken right now. You know what I mean? Like everything that you built up for and you just think you're so dope and everything, I could get into a car accident today and not be able to use my arms. You know what I mean? Or my eyes or anything. And so I'm like, it's all God. It's not that award show where it's like the cliche, like, I want to thank God. And it's like, no, this is literally, I'm not supposed to be here on paper. On paper, I'm not supposed to be talking to you guys about my journey, about how I've been successful or whatever. Like on paper, I should have went to school. I should have had mentors. I should have had the network. I should have built a business a certain way. I should have this in the bank. I should have that. And God has done this.
Yeah.
This where it's like boom, boom, boom. And I'm working with like these huge people or these huge corporations. And I'm thinking in my mind like, oh God, am I going to be able to do this? There's people here that this is what they've done and for years and they went to school and they did. And God is like, come on.
I prepared you for this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you're ready.
You do it and
I'm
I go
giving
in
it to
there
you because you are ready.
I had a shoot with Revolt last week. And it was such a kind of cool, like the director, we've known each other for some time because when I was doing music, we were doing a session with the game. And that's how I met him. And he was doing music too, but he was also doing video. So we kind of had like this, kind of parallel path. And I went in there and it was just like total, like, this is what I do kind of thing. You know how like you realize something that like, let's say, you go tomorrow and you go set up one of your mobile podcasts, right? And you go in there and you're shooting with someone big. Now probably, since you've gotten to work with a lot of people, it's like this is what I do, right? This is what I do. I'm going to set it up. This is how I know this is going to look good. Lighting on this side, like, are we going to do more cinematic? Are we going to do it more podcast style? But you know that in your head, right? And then, but some days you're like, wow, I know this. Like, or you look at the end product and you're like, wow, that's dope. Like, I remember when I was trying to get this, or even I'm surprised we have 4 mics. I remember when I only had one. You know what I mean? Like,
I get those moments almost every podcast. With the studio, I'm just like, dude, how did this come together?
Exactly,
yeah.
And it's so cool. But when you get these realizations, it's like, whoa. And then when we were at Revolt, it was like an easy, like, boom, boom, boom. The artists come in, like everyone's usually with artists. People are like.
Right.
And me, I'm like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And like the producers are like, Logan, dude, we want you all the time, man. Mm-hmm. Like you just bring this studio up. Like you did it. And it was like another God thing where it was like, I'm not scared to, like how. So I got with music, the confidence I got with music, I now have in video, which is so cool because the video was literally all God. Music was all God, but it was more of this focused. And I knew where I could go and where I couldn't, where video was like I started like on the ledge.
The gift you didn't know you had and
no,
it just came.
Exactly. And so it was cool, like literally just last week to be like, I was talking to my wife, I was like, wow, babe, I feel like this is who I am. Yeah. And so that's been my journey. I'm sure there's a lot of stories in between, but
there's so much to unpack on all of that as well. Yeah. And how are you with like mentoring now? Are you open? Has people reached out to you about you being their mentor or anything like that?
Yeah. And some, which me, I always tell people I'm an open book. Like I'm not that type on YouTube, that'll be like, do this, mm-hmm. and then they leave this out and they're like, and then you try to do it right, and you're like, this didn't come out the same way because they leave that little thing out. Me, I'm like, hey, bro, this is how I do it. You want to know it? Like, but it's so crazy how many people, they're like, man, I need to learn that. And you tell them, I'll teach you how to learn it. And it's like, I don't know if they're scared because they're afraid they're not going to be able to retain the information or something, whatever. But they rarely take you up on it. Mm-hmm. Where me, I was like, what do we got to do? Like, what, you know what I mean?
Well, there's people that like want it so bad. It's like being in the middle of the ocean and like you have to want it so bad compared to like you wanting to breathe when you're in the water, right? I always think about that story. Like if they really want it, like I get people reach out to me, but I'm like, if you really want it, you're going to show up. You're going to come from wherever you are, and then I am going to teach you. But I need to know that you really want it. Same as me.
You did hear that though. He said cheat you first. I knew it. I knew that's the guy. I knew what this guy said. He was like, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna treat you. I knew it. That's why we haven't worked together. I knew it. God was
It's
saving
a scammer
me.
in him.
He's like,
No,
I'm
I'm gonna
man.
cheat on you, treat you.
Yeah. I had one bride. I shot her wedding, and she got interested in videography and photo, and she drove from San Diego all the way to when I had my studio just to learn how to balance her gimbal. And I'm like, we could have done this on Zoom. She's like, no, I want to be next to you. I want to learn. And that, to me, ever since then, I still help her out whenever I can. She's doing her thing, music videos and stuff like that.
And it's such a rewarding thing to see.
Right.
So the difference between music, teaching people music, and teaching people film stuff is with music, I feel like you have to have that talent in you somewhere for with singing, basically, right? So people would want me to do like celebrity kids and all that would want me to do vocal lessons for them. And I needed the money, so I'd be like, oh, okay, I do it. And knowing that these kids are never going to be able to know how to sing really like well, right? Like no matter whatever thing I try to give them, and then there was other ones that you could tell they could sing already. And so it's like, okay, let me see if I can mold this into something good. Well, I stopped doing it because I felt bad, because I felt like I was just taking people's money, because I could give them the same classes I give the people that can sing, but they're not going to go. That's not their calling, right?
Right.
Where with this, I love teaching people camera stuff, because no matter what, I can get them to a good image. How they do creatively, that's up to them. I can show them how I do creatively. They can copy or try to copy.
Right.
And cool. But at least tried and true technology, I can teach you, this is how you get this image. And you just see and they're like fiddling, and then you see the eye go like this, and you're like, you know what I mean? Like that, you got it. And it's so rewarding, because no matter what, whoever's on the camera, I can literally just take their fingers if I need to and be like, you see this? This is your ISO, okay? We don't want to go here. We want to go there. This is your shutter speed. You want to do double times of what you're shooting in, okay? Here you have a little bit of a lower, you have a higher aperture here, but you have a lower aperture on this lens. So we want to make sure that we get more light over there. So come over here to the window, since we don't have lighting, and then get your subject. And then they're like, oh, that's what it is, because it's a lot of people are hands-on learners. Like we can watch YouTube for hours, but if you don't get on there and put your hands to it, it's hard to retain that information. So it's so rewarding, like with that. So for me, I'm like anyone, like a lot of people, I edit in DaVinci Resolve, and most editors are Premiere. Like most independent people are Premiere. And they're terrified to go over to DaVinci like I was, because it looks crazy. But if you've done Photoshop and all that, that there's layers. So it was like, let me just show you how this is in layer form, and come on over and do it. Literally 9 out of 10 people don't come. But every time I see them, I still need to get with you about DaVinci Resolve. So I get you remember, you ever shot with Wes?
No.
Wes, so he's a
Kanye
red-haired. No. No, that's the other podcast. Remember that? That's not this one. That's not this one. That's the last one. But Wes, he's an older guy, red-haired. He'd shoot with Will and stuff. Well, I met him at a wedding. We were shooting over there, and he was the same way. He was like, bro, even seeing you here, he was like, would you ever come down? Because he teaches a class here in Orange County, like their ROP kind of program of camera stuff, all that. And he was like, would you do a class on gimbal, like on using the gimbal? And I was like, sure, bro. And so came down, got so him and the other teacher came. They paid me from their budget, and was like there, and then was like, would you mentor me? And I was like, I will. I said, I'm not used. I said, more me, I'm like, come shoot with me or whatever, than this is what I need you to do. I need you to plan out because he was like, this is an older community, right? So he's like, can you just give me how to lay out? Do this week, do that. I said, that's not really my style, bro. And I said,
running gun.
But I said, I am more let me show you how it's done. If you have questions, I'm there for you. I said, as far as putting out a curriculum or anything, I said
It's not my cup of tea.
yeah, because he's in the educational realm, so that's his. They have their whole.
But most mentors are kind of like that as well. Like mine, I would go to him and we didn't even have to talk about photo that day, or I wouldn't even know what we were going to do. I just knew I needed to be next to him.
Yeah.
Eventually, I will learn what he does.
Yeah.
And sometimes mentoring is not even about photo and video. Sometimes it's just life.
Yep.
Like when I need some advice or like therapy or whatever, I'll call him. It has nothing to do with photo, video, but he helps me out. You know what I mean? So yeah, I totally agree when you're saying like I'm the kind that's just run and gun. It's like that's what you want anyway. You know what I mean? That's what I want. And a mentor to tell me, all right, come shoot with me and I'll show you. And I just want to be a sponge. That's it. That's my goal. I just want to be a sponge and learn.
That is me, man. And I've asked so many people and like the first thing they say like, I don't really like on this shoot, I don't have the money to pay. And I'm like, I don't care about that. Like I'm not worried about money. I just want to like soak up the info and because in this market where we're at, I guess it's oversaturated, right? Even though we know there's room for everybody, but in LA, there's a really like a thing where it's like, I got to get mine, and I don't want anybody threatening like my artist thing, my client base or whatever with me, and I'm like, you don't have to ever worry about me being that behind the back, like, hey, if you want to shoot, well, I can do this and do that. I'm like. No, I just like I like your style and I want to learn how to do it like my way, and people either threatened or don't care, and that's why I'm like, all right, God, well then it's same old, let's do some cool stuff. So yeah, but I mean I love this stuff. I love like seeing people just excited to see like themselves in a good light. Like when you, for instance, you take a picture of someone that they don't feel like they're photogenic.
A lot of them.
All of them,
yes.
Right? Almost all of them.
Almost all of them, yeah.
And then when you show them, they're like, oh.
Almost immediately. You do the first pose, you take a couple shots, you show them because it's going to build their confidence.
Yes.
Oh my God, these look great. All right, now we got 58 more minutes to go. And now we're going to knock it out.
And you know what has to do with, bro? Like, more so than the image, it's how you make them feel.
Yeah.
Right? My dad always taught me, like, and we're from Kentucky. My dad's black, my mom's white. Like, and to see his example of this, like, is the reason why I am how I am, because he's that kill him with kindness kind of thing, right? And he always was, he's always like, man, if you can make someone feel comfortable, like they will give you the world. And so my first thing, like even when I was talking about karaoke and like making people feel like they're on an even plane, when I'm on set and I'm the one directing, I'm like, hey, we're all cool here. This is no like super hierarchy thing. This is we're going to have a great time and we're going to have a good attitude about it. If you don't have a good attitude, you should probably go that way because you're not going to like how I am because I'm going to be extra with it. You know what I mean? Like it's about making the people feel comfortable. You can feel that on set when, like, y'all know a lot of the tech guys have attitudes. I don't know why, but you'll get a lighting guy and they'll be like, oh, mother. And you're like, oh, you need some help, man? Like, what's going on? Like, what, or like when I was singing, the engineer would have an attitude. A lot of audio engineers doing the live stuff. But every time I go over to him, like, hey, bro, just really appreciate you doing this. Like, anything you need from me, let me know. You need, like, some food or whatever, I'll get somebody to get you some food or whatever. Even when it wasn't my show, but I was just guest singing or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, thank. Every time, my mix
is the best
would be on point because you took time to make someone feel valuable. We're all valuable.
Yeah.
So it just makes me mad when people make them get over here when they treat their interns like this or you stupid. Like, no, they're probably going to be bigger than you someday and they're going to remember you when you need work.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why we named the podcast Visionary Circle. I always like to say that the circle is not only because we're here at the Orange Circle, but it's because if we were all in a room, all of us, everybody that's been on the podcast and who's coming, there is no hierarchy. We're all sitting in a round table. We're all equal.
Love that.
And that's what I preach about when I explain the name, the Visionary Circle. We're all visionaries, but we're all equal around us. Yeah. So it's one of the things that I love to say about the name.
I love it. Because I think about I think about like if we all get to heaven, right? He's not gonna say Sergio did 2 more wedding shoots than you did, so we're gonna put him in a bigger mansion over here. We're gonna do it. He's not gonna be like, we're all gonna be on this even. He's not gonna care about that.
But God might say that Logan did this crazy project called "Do You See Me," where he dedicated his talent and art to helping.
I didn't want to say that.
I didn't want to say
helping people, and all you guys did was weddings for money.
Yeah.
And I believed in a bigger cause.
He'll
So
be in a bigger mansion. Let's just say that.
honestly, from your track record, I don't know, bro. I feel like you will have a bigger mansion. But.
I didn't say it, but they did.
But actually, going back to like just treating everyone equal is I do the same thing when it comes to weddings. Like I'll try to be nice to the bartender, nice to the waiters, because I'm sure they also feel like these people think they're above me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or even the DJ or whatever. I try to be nice to everybody because we're all on the same field, right? We're all here for one reason, is to make the couple's lives rememberable, like for them to enjoy this day.
Yeah.
Right. And then next thing you know, the bartender's giving you drinks or the waiters are giving you, making sure you're fed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's because you're just being nice.
We all play an important part, no matter where it is. If one cog is missing, the whole thing messes up, right?
Yeah.
So we're all like in this wheel, like you said, this visionary circle. And if one of those is missing, then it messes up. If you have a bartender that's doing horrible drinks, it's like for people that are hired them and want them to be there, it's going to mess up the mood.
Yeah.
It's going to do this. If you have people that are spilling their drinks everywhere when they're giving them out, the waiters, all that, like it's going to be bad. But
Changes
if you have
the
people
dynamic.
that feel, that's what I learned about like why I always try to like give something to someone when they help me or whatever, even if they're like, no, I just want to, I want to be here. Like, you don't have to pay me anything. I always try to give because no matter what in our minds, if we feel some kind of value, like we're going to work harder to get it done. You know what I mean? When someone knows they're actually going to get some kind of value out of the thing, they're going to get it. So, I think it's really important to show that. For one, it's like that golden rule: do unto others as you'd want them to have do unto you. Like, we've had so many people that have used us.
Yeah.
And like the one, and it's horrible. It's the ones that pay less. They want more than the ones that pay.
That's so crazy. What a weird little phenomenon in business. Like
everybody, knows this rule.
Yeah, it's crazy. So crazy. Every time I'm like, wait, you want? No, that doesn't work. So it started getting to the point. That's why I stopped shooting weddings, to be honest. Like because I was like, you want so much for this money. Like I'm giving you like $1,500 or $2,500 or even $3,500. Like, and it'd be like, no, we're not gonna do that. And they're like, we're paying you, and I'm like, yeah, I know, and they're paying me. Exactly. But then when you say that, now you're the jerk or whatever. So for me, it was like dealing with like. You can tell I'm a people person. Yeah. But even me, like there's a certain amount, like it's how I'm a people person with people that are like this, not stand off and like, you need to be doing this. We need you over here. We need, like, especially when they're too cheap to get a second photographer or get a second videographer. So they want you everywhere. And if you're not there, they're mad. Why is the videographer getting this? Because you're 2 miles away and I'm over here. You know what I mean? And so for me, I was like, you know what? There are people that are specialized in this, and I'm going to do that. So if I ever do them, it's like I'll charge a lot because it's one of those things, the ones that you don't want to do, you'll be like, it's going to be 10 G's. And it's so funny, and they'll be like, all right. And you're like, dang it. Dang it.
What happened? I just booked a 10G job. I didn't want to do it.
It's like, what's that movie called where those two guys, they start pitching weapons and artillery shipments to the American government, and I don't know how they get into it, but
with the funny guy, like
the funny guy and the other guy. But I love how vague all this is. But at one part, he gets a bid, and he's like, give him a ridiculous number, and then he gives him like a stupid number, and then he looks at him, and his eyes go like, ridiculous just called. Like they say yes to this crazy number, and they go and but it's a whole movie. But yeah, that's so cool. Bro, feel free to say like an outright no to this. I don't mind. But I'm going to have to ask you because like, I'm sure everyone hearing your voice can tell like this guy can sing, bro. Like when I hear your voice, I'm like, this guy can sing.
Right.
Can I pull up an instrumental and we sing a popular song? Is that something you become? Just feel free to say no, but I have to ask you for this.
No.
Like a verse of the song?
Whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable singing.
What time is it? Time for my lawyer to give me
That's enough.
I mean, we can put something on. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a fun song that we can sing?
Are we singing?
I mean, you're singing. Honestly,
I hate when
it's
people
you're
do
singing.
that.
I just want to. I want to decorate this.
We are gonna do such a good job.
Our mics are going to be off, unfortunately, but we did sing the whole way through.
Right. That's
So I'll pull up like either a karaoke version or an instrumental of something. I'm thinking change is going to come because when you mention that, I envision that. But whatever you're comfortable singing and whatever amount, it could be like 2 seconds, whatever.
Let me see. I'll just do some a cappella. We don't even have to do the
Okay, hit me.
music. So you want Change Don't Come?
I like change is going to come. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even warm up or anything, but get it.
Me.
Get it. Let me get some water.
Yeah. Do you?
Go ahead.
Thank you, man. This is so
Yeah.
cool.
All right.
Sorry, Sergio. I had to ask.
it's-
I can't listen to his voice rumble like that and not hear him sing, man. He has a crazy voice, man. And I feel like just like visuals are important, I think acoustics are nice to hear every once in a while.
Okay. 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 Speaking to the mic, baby.
I was born by the river.
That's now I'm intimidated. I don't
No,
know if I
bro,
can
come on,
Come
I
on,
don't know
Leo,
if I
get
can
out of
do
here.
it. Now, see,
No,
you got
it's
it.
real. That's
You got
it.
it. Now his career started with something good, entrepreneurial. All right, here we go. I was born by the river in a little town, or just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it is.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Bro, that's crazy.
It is really cool.
I didn't see that come in, like the layers in the song. That is so freaking cool, man.
Oh,
I'm so glad.
gosh.
I'm so glad the viewers got to hear that. Honestly, that's so cool. Yeah, dude, what a history! Like having the musical background. My question is going to be: is there any patterns in song making or music storytelling that extended into your video stuff?
Yeah, that's why I think I became such a good editor because, have you guys ever done any like music production stuff at all?
Super basic,
Basic stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
super basic.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you have done a lot of video, right?
Right.
A lot of video editing.
Mhm.
So in a DAW, like if you record like vocals and stuff, there's still the wavelengths there, right? And there's the different beats, there's the different rhythms. Well, if you look at commercials, you'll see that not everybody came from music because their cuts are on the wrong beat or it doesn't flow like the way that it's with the track, right?
Mhm.
So with music, when I'm cutting, like even if it's not on the snare or it's not on the kick, I can hear that hi-hat in a certain time, a certain timing, right? Where it like it's not, it still flows, but it's an image comes out of nowhere, but it doesn't feel
It doesn't feel
jarring.
off. Whoa. Okay.
It doesn't feel jarring because you're like, no, that's my hi-hat in there when I'm doing it, right? Like the ting 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 ting, and you're like, and it makes you feel some type of way. So when I put that in, or I put like my sound effects in, because I'm known for the sound effect stuff, like you'll, you know what? I can't play it on there,
Yeah,
but I'm
we'll
going to
see.
show
It.
you. They can hear.
Did you understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just felt like okay. I just want to make sure. Like he's hitting beats that
Right.
we wouldn't recognize, which is
Yeah.
which is so dope.
Okay, so I'm going to show you this, which
It's unreleased.
is not. It is unreleased. And they
Unreleased.
can hear it, but they cannot see it.
They cannot see it.
All right.
On the Patreon.
This is off of a
There's a paywall for everything
Patreon,
here.
yeah.
I feel like I'm in an airplane.
So this is a product video of a product that I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yes.
I can see it from here. Is this the one where they're asking for many rough drafts? Yeah. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Whoa. I didn't see that coming, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the GOAT.
I don't want to
goat.
say that, but
No, but we're sitting with the GOAT.
Yes.
Like you should have said we're bringing Logan the GOAT.
I should have
I didn't see that-
warmed you up a little bit more.
I did
yeah.
not see that coming. I was like, all right, video like our level stuff, like cool, fun, but that's like the next level stuff. Those are the types of videos when I see in a commercial, I'm like, damn it, like I'm a filmmaker and I don't know how to do that.
Right. Yeah. I want to put my cameras to like retire.
Yeah.
No.
Dude, you're freaking crazy. Like I didn't see that coming. Whoa.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got to see that because like now the viewers are so lost. And
No,
they're like,
actually,
what did
no.
you just see?
If they go onto his page, they'll see pretty much like what
Stuff
I've
like that.
seen.
Okay,
it's
okay.
incredible. Yeah, it's incredible work, edits and everything. It's amazing.
Bro, that's unbelievable stuff.
Thanks, bro.
You're the
Yeah.
GOAT. Like
Thank you,
that's
man.
really, really cool. And I love that like there's graphics involved. There's really rich color palettes and
Super rich.
color grading.
Yeah.
The effects are crazy. I can't even keep up with like what's real and what's fake at this point with the camera movements and like the zooms. But yeah, that's so freaking cool, man. I'm so glad that so glad we got to see that.
Yeah, one of the things that my mentor always taught me is if you can have people say, "How'd you do that?" You did something incredible.
Right,
I watched. I'm like, "How?" Right?
How?
It's amazing. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. I'm
To
so
go
impressed.
into the philanthropy stuff, like, yes, I know you in passing, and you've done some, awesome stuff, and I'll get into that for us. It's really cool to listen to your origin story about that because he's the kind of person where, let's say something tragic happens to you, and I hope it doesn't, right? Logan just, because I'm sure he just connected with you today, he's gonna do something to kind of help you out, and he did that for us. Where I met him once at a wedding, and then we kind of connected on IG, and back and forth kind of deal. Where like he's one of those people where I can't believe that he responds to me, and we were just like back and forth. I was like, oh man, Logan's cool, right? Then I had lost everything in a fire on Thanksgiving Day, and we did a whole thing of like giving back to the community because there were so many people that helped us out. So we did an event where that's where I met JoJo. We did the whole photo shoot and all that stuff, and he showed up with his wife, and they both showed up, and it was awesome just him being there because I know how far he lives. And so it was really, and thank you for doing that, for coming through. But not only that, then days later, he ended up making a video asking people to help us.
Oh, it was before.
Whoa.
Oh, it was before that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Asking people to help us and go to our GoFundMe and and it was one of those just surprising things where I'm gonna get a little bit deep in what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of times where humans test your everyday kindness that you try to be. So for example, like what's the saying?
Do unto others as you have them do unto you.
Exactly that. I practice that a lot, but then there's some people that test that and then they make me ask the question. I was like, why am I even this kind of people? Like one of the ones I can just think of on the top of my head is I'm always courteous when there's a car waiting for a parking spot and they're waiting for me. Right? They see me and I go, oh, they're waiting for me. I'm gonna do my best to get in the car and pull out and get out. Leo, I promise you, there have been so many times where I'm the one waiting for someone and they take their time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. At some point, it just gets so long. I'm just like, if I move now, it makes no sense because as soon as I move, they're gonna get out.
Or when you open a door for someone and they don't say anything, they just go
Nothing.
through. And
Yeah.
they're like, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get
And
it.
I'm just like, how? Like, and it's the kindness of like what Logan did for us that keeps me from staying who I am as far as like being kind to other people, being courteous to other people, because then there's going to be that one person that does something incredible and impactful for me that's going to be like, okay, this is also why I am also courteous to other people and try to be, nice and everything like that, and make sure I pull out as quick as possible. So I thank you for that, and I'm glad that I'm saying it here in camera, that Korean and I are very appreciative for you making that video that no one asked you to, and you just did it with the kindness of your heart. But it's cool to know that you started with that. You did something huge for somebody for kids that just wanted mirrors on their wall, and to see that not only have you done it for me, but I heard you did it for Will as well. When Will lost all his gear, you reached out to the community.
Man, that was such a cool thing too, bro.
Yeah.
Like the Will thing. You mind if I explain?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bit? So Will, when you meet Will, you'll love him too. He's crazy too. But Will is like a stay after the shoot 3 hours just to get it, for you. Like he just wants you to be happy, all that kind of thing. And I remember that about him when I first met him. We worked on some stuff. And he had kind of tested me because he'd known Nicole for years, and he said that she used to be with some whack guys, and he was worried about it. And he said when I did that first shoot with him, the wedding shoot, he was like, dude, I'll never forget when we had been around all these females, we'd been all that kind of stuff, and we started talking about stuff, and you said, none of that matters to me. Like, I'm like, Nicole is my girl. Like, I been there, done that. Like, doesn't even faze me. And he said, the guys that I'm around, they're never like, it's like always like, did you see that person or whatever? Who said, dude, your guy was like on it. He was doing his camera stuff. He was nice to everybody, the guys and the girls, so no one felt weird. Like, he made people comfortable. And he was like, you're what you say you are, right? And so, like with Will, like we've had a lot of deep conversation. He's that like you said, where if he needs to talk to somebody that'll give him the real, like he'll call me and I've vented to him a few times. But with that, and if on set, he's the goofy guy, right? They're like, hey everybody, ha 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 ha, and he'll make you laugh, like those kind of photographers that like really go above and beyond, like to get that shot and to make you feel comfortable. And so one time he was about to do this shoot, and he left his car outside, and he went to go in to get the keys or something to get to the studio downtown, and someone jacked all his stuff, like broke into his car. It was like they were watching him, broke in, took everything. And I saw his post, and he doesn't really let people see like his, I don't even want
struggles.
To say, yeah, struggles, right? Like, because he wants everybody to feel good and not anyone to worry about him. And I saw him cussing on there and stuff, and he was just like, man, everybody, like, I do good by everybody, and I effing da 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 da. And I called him and I said, bro, please take that down. I said, here's what we're gonna do. I said, we're gonna go to my church, and we're gonna film a GoFundMe. We're gonna make it look dope. I have some words for you to say. We're gonna plan it out. And I said, this is a learning lesson, I promise you. And I said, you're gonna see what's gonna come, and if you believe it, like, God's gonna bless you, man. And I promise you, like, just trust me. Take out the hate stuff in your life, like that you're feeling right now, and just let your boy take care of you, right? So I do like a 3-cam setup, like, cool, like big, huge soft box with the stained glass behind him, and cool stuff. And I'm like, all right, bro, first tell me the story. And I said, and then we'll rewrap it so that people can understand it. So he does it, and I said, okay, cool. So I need you to give me more intensity on this, like, because this is really big, and I need you to chill out right here, like, and go. And then I'm going to speak too. So we did that. And I said, well, first off, we prayed. I said, let's pray, bro. Like, I prayed for him when I called him, like, but then we prayed at the church, and I was like, all right, bro, let's pray. And I was like, the prayer was basically like, Lord, I pray that you bless him with this stuff and just show him who you are. And I know you're going to do it. And dude, so he was down. He's like, bro, I really appreciate it, man. I really needed this. And it was so perfect that it was in the church that I got to do it. And like for his come up was like in a sacred, safe, should be safe, sacred, safe place. So he was asking, he was like, maybe just like 5,000 so I can get a camera. I said, no, bro. I said, all your stuff was taken. I said, you got to get at least a camera and you need to get you like at least 2 lenses for you to be back on your feet. And I said, but I don't know, man. You have a lot of people that know who you are and you've done a lot. I think you're going to see. And they're like, I don't want, I just feel bad because, I've always been like take care of people. And I'm not used to people taking care of me. And the reason why he and he'll tell you this story too. It's not me trying to talk good on myself, but a couple birthdays before that, I just was thankful for who he was in my life and like how he kind of got me, like gave me more security in this game, this video game. And so I was like, hey bro, for your birthday, I want to take you out. And he was like, all right, cool. Let's hang with, bros or whatever, go. And I'm like, first we're going to get you a pair of J's. And he's like, shut up. And I was like, no, we can get you a pair of J's, whatever J's you want. And he was like, no, man, no, I'm good with it. And I was like, no, bro, I want to. Like, please let me get. And so we get him a pair of J's, and he's like, he starts getting emotional. I'm like, why are you getting emotional? This is your boy, getting you something. He said, man, when I was a kid, we grew up kind of like neat, like his mom did the best that he could, but we didn't want to put any pressure on her, so we didn't ask for like these bigger things. But he was like, I just remember in high school when I was playing basketball, I was like, I know if I had a pair of Jordans, I'd be like the best and because he would play ball and he's pretty good. And he's like, but I just knew like that was too much and I couldn't. He said, and I've always been like, I've always wanted a pair of J's, but I like, in my mind, I think I'm going back to high school where it's like, no, don't, you got to spend this on that. And he was like, so for you to do that and you not knowing that, he was like, that like,
wow,
man, it was so much. And it's funny now because now he has a huge J's collection, right? And he's like, and his wife was like, Logan, you, and I was like, but you remember that? And I was like, it's just like the J's, man. Let me take care of you, bro. Like, this is just out of love. You don't have to pay me anything. Like, let's just, work it out. So, so he trusted me because I was just trying to, it wasn't to put it in his face, but it was like, remember, like that was just me out of strength. Like, you don't have to pay me back for anything. This is like, I just want you to be good. Like, dude, 2 days later, after that video, over $30,000. Dude, I forgot. See, that stuff, man. Like that stuff is what changed. That's what, because I was like right? I was like midway in where I'm at now because that was some years back. Like, it gave me that extra, like, God was reminding me. I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, because it even pumps me up even more now because I'm like, it reminded me of like why I got into this or how I got into this in the first place. And since then, it's been wrong. He got to get him his R5, and that's when it first came out. I was like, "Get you to good." He was like, "I feel like I should." I was like, "No, bro. They believed in you for you to get your business up. You get your business up." And he got all his stuff back and better than what it was because he was shooting on the 5D Mark III. I think. Yeah. Like, and got his thing, man, and he kills it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And now, like, anything I need, he's like, dude, like, I want to do it for free. And I'm like, no, like, but it's that bond, like, just like how it would, like, with that, like, I can tell when someone's good people. Like, I've got that discernment. I feel like I can tell now when someone's going to use me, and I'm not going to get anything reciprocated, or someone that, like, just generally needs it. You know what I mean? And, like, with you, bro, I've always thought I could see on your videos, even when I met you, I was like, Sergio's cool, and Will was like, yeah, Sergio's mad cool, and and we'd talk back and forth, and I'd see how you interacted with your clients and all that kind of thing, which is very important to me, because when you see how a client, because you can tell, even like if we've done it this long, you can tell when a client's like, okay, just give me the picture. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, when the guy's like, so I'm with this girl, and the girls are like, hey, and then they're trying to be cool. Like, I love that you had, and you just have like a vibe about you, bro. And so,
Thanks, man.
like, that kind of stuff is a no-brainer. But man, yeah, that's what keeps me in, bro. Like, it reminds me of how important it is, because like the stuff I showed you, it's all cool, but for me, it's kind of like it starts getting redundant after a while when you're doing it over and over again, and you're not seeing this stuff, like the effect of it. You know what I mean? Like the effect of that video or what it's doing. And so, yeah.
It's the same thing right now with me and this podcast that we have. Like, money is not even something that me and Leo think about. It's literally the relationships that we've been able to create with the people that come in. But not only that, rekindle the relationships that I created, like with yourself, but we haven't even hung out in this level of intimacy. So it's like, it's really cool to see and to have people like you to come over here, and I appreciate you being here and doing this for us. But this is why I love what me and Leo are doing. And I'm gonna love when Will comes as well, and just bring everybody in and have their stories come out. But your origin story, man, I love it so much, and thank you for sharing that. I love how you put it, that the valleys and everything, they've been filled with God. And that's what I wanted to mention as well, is thank you for being so open with your relationship with God right from the get-go.
For sure.
You didn't mention how you became this person of God and a God-fearing man. Like, you didn't mention, you were just talking to us, and with your story, you were letting us know that you have a relationship with God and you trusted Him throughout your entire life. Yeah. And whenever things got rough, you knew that God was going to take care of you.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, man.
For sure, man. It really is the basis of my existence, to be honest with you. Quick back is my dad was actually a pastor as a kid, like, and he was in the military and he was doing pastoring, and so he's been in and out the ministry my whole life. And me singing, I was singing in the church, and singing at different things. And
wait, you sing?
No.
Can you sing a song for us?
I'm a hardcore rapper.
Can you hit us with a few bars?
No, but it's so crazy, bro, because I hear people, like, with what's going on right now, it's not really popular to be a Christian. It's like, it's actually the opposite, where people, you're judgmental, you're da-da-da-da, you're this, and the Bible's this, the Bible's that, and everyone has their beliefs on it. But I can honestly say the things that have gone on in my life, man, like, there's no other explanation than God. Amen. Like, there's no, like, from jump, even my parents getting to know each other. I'm going to tell you the story because I want you to just see how God works in our life, like, from before I was even here. So my mom is one of 13.
Wow.
And my dad is one of 10. Total opposite sides of the train track, right? Racist white stuff over here, super, like, and black folks that, yeah. And so my parents always tell me that they met first time in middle school. And like, my dad remembers my mom down the hall, this cute little blonde-haired girl, and was like, hey, and she smiled at him, like, you could tell there was no, like, oh, he's black or he's da-da-da. It was just a
pure response.
Yeah, pure, genuine smile. Hey, nice to meet you. They had mutual friends. And that was, like, I want to say 9th grade. And so fast forward to they just got out of high school. And they were in a Bible study, and they met each other there again. And so then they started dating. Well, so my dad, when he was 9 years old, he couldn't swim, right? And he was by this, like, lake, and these two white guys came over, and they said, hey, boy, you know how to swim? And he's like, no, I like the water, but I don't know how to swim, and they're like, okay. They look at each other, and they throw him in the lake. And my dad said, randomly, I never saw the guy after it or before it. He said, some random old black guy was in a tree and gave him a branch and saved my dad's life, right? So my mom comes from the 13, but she comes from a family where my grandpa was abusive to his wife. He was very hard on the kids, and he was very weird when it came to any physical affection. He didn't want them hugging. He didn't want them like touching at all. I honestly believe, knowing what we know now with past stuff and Psych 101 things, I think that maybe he was molested as a kid and he didn't want that to ever happen, but he did it such in a weird way that it made them have issues because they didn't have that physical touch from their parents, right? So the only one that he gave any kind of that to was my mom. And she could remember on her hands how many times he hugged her, but he did. Like, and my outside family still have issues with that to this day because they're like, he loved you and you were da-da-da-da. And she's like, he gave me like 3 or 4 hugs my whole life. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Well, he raised them very hard. They got to see he was very hard on the boys. But out of the 13, she was his favorite. And so when he found out that she was with my dad, he did the whole token disowning thing and was like, you know what? How could you do this to me? How could you do this to your family? Like, I don't want to see you. You're banned from our house. She was 16, moved out, and was like living on her own since she was 16. And then when she met my dad, when she moved on or whatever, there was it was just basically like the Spanish man. I have an aunt whose husband was in the KKK, like put a hit out on my dad. Like literally, this is like, sounds like American Greed story or something, but that literally was like put a hit out on my dad. And my my mom, if you meet her, you'd be like, she's so sweet, this little country. She always tells you, she'd be like, and I went over to him and she was like, I wasn't going to do it, but I told him, if anything happens to Tony, I'll kill myself. And then it was like, and they dropped the hit on him or whatever. But anyway, so I give you that backstory because I want you to know like how big her family was, how important she was to the dad, and how like she had like a family that was, rooted in some racism, So my mom and dad are walking down the road, and my dad, this is how God has a sense of humor. And my dad, he grabs my mom's hand and he puts her behind his back. And she goes, what are you doing? And he's like, those guys are the ones that threw me in the river when I was 9. And she goes, my twin brothers? So here God is, like, where you've had this whole racism thing, and now the favorite of the family, who is a super Christian, like big black dude, has that there, right? So like, and these were the same people, and so they're looking at him like, and she's like, those are my brothers, Tony, and he's like, what? So that, right? So then when my mom got married to me, none of the family showed up, none of their side, but there was like, the God brought all these people. There was like, I think they said there was like 400 people that came to this little bitty thing that wasn't their family, but everyone that just loved who they were and whatever. And but after they found out she was pregnant, she went to my grandpa and she said, Daddy, like, I know you don't agree with this. Like, I love him and we're married and we're gonna have a child and I want you to be a part of his life, And he said, if that thing looks anything like a nigger, he was like, I don't want to see you or it again ever. And so God, in God's fashion, he goes, okay, let's play this little game. I come out super white. My hair is Q-tip blonde. Like, I show you pictures, Q-tip blonde. Heck, let me see if I have one. And I was his favorite till the day he died.
Wow.
And my brother came out a lot darker than me, beautiful Brazilian, skin tone, all that kind of stuff. They were afraid, like, he loved my brother. So when I talk about my dad being that guy, for the first like 3 or 4 years of my life, my dad would sit out in the car because he wanted them to have a relationship with me and didn't want my mom's relationship to be tainted. He would sit out in the car while she was in the house with my grandpa and the family for like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, and he would sit there and wait. And then finally, one day, like when I was born and I was getting, he said, tell Tony to come into the house. And so he did that, right? So fast forward about 8 years after that, I'm like 12 years old, and he has a stroke. And the whole right side of his body was paralyzed. Couldn't talk anymore. The only thing he could say was cuss words. It was crazy. And he'd be like, well, then he'd be like, do, right? And whenever we would come back to Kentucky, the only people that he wanted to be around and to take him places, my dad and my family. So God, like, in our lives, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, if you do it, like, only God can make that happen. Like, you just took who knows how long of racism that's been in that family, and from the hardest man you'd ever meet, like, this guy had a sawed-off shotgun, and if you mess with his kids, he'd point a shotgun in your face. They knew him as being the crazy Ed Lunsford. That was his name. Like, they knew, like, do not mess with him or anyone. He would come into school and shoot you, you know, that kind of person. And, like, here's the hardest man, the one that no one feel that they can change his mind. And God was like, no, we got it. And to the day he died, man, like, he was mad cool. Like, he'd smile. My dad would come in, like, his own sons, he would hit him with the left hook in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like, but with us, it was like a bright smile. Like, there it is. And so from when I was born, man, like, God has had that hand on our life, and it's not stopped. And so when I tell people about it, it's not from let me get it off. Let me try to be humble, you know, real quick, like, and try to act like, because, you know, there's that fake humble, you know, where they're like, yeah, I'd be nothing without God, but what I did is how I built this and how I did. Like, I literally, like, even when people ask me, hey, Logan, what can I do to get to where you're at? Like, and I always tell them, I'm like, I'm not the token story, guys. Like, mine is like, it wasn't you know what, I did this, and this is what got me there, and this is how to do for you. It's a tried and true. Like, mine is, I said, I've always just been good to people and tried to stay up on my game. And God did the rest. Because anything I tried to go for, even to this day, like, you know how, like, on projects, sometimes with the client, they want a few different bids, right? They want a bid from, like, maybe this person, that person, and they want to review and say, okay, this might be a little bit more, but it seems like it's ours. Or it might be like, let's go with the cheapest or whatever. Like, whenever I'd put in bids, whatever, I'd never get them. But my biggest stuff is from someone calling out of the blue, like the composer guy that'll be like, Logan, we need you on this, bro. Can you come? Just out in the middle of nowhere. And so I know that's how it's like God reminded me, like, this isn't you. I'm allowing you to be in this position. So I just do it and try to go above and beyond, man, and, like, go. And so I tell kids, I'm like, just be good and just keep working on your craft. Anything you need from me, let me know. If you want to come shoot, let's do it. Like, but I literally know without a shadow of a doubt that it comes from God on my side. Yeah.
I think that's one of, like, the major keys that we've seen with everybody that's here. Not everybody, but most. And they talk about their relationship with God. And my goal one day would be to get, like, a compilation video of, like, how everybody has that relationship with God, and they put it first and look at where they are now, because there's still a lot of doubt, like the Christianity and God, does he exist? And to be able to see all these people, creative people, succeeding in their life and in their field, one thing that's in common, they have that belief and trust in God, and God has always provided for them.
Man, it's such a tried and true thing. Even I was explaining to Leo before we even started shooting, like some stuff that's going on in my life, and even it was so cool. Even Leo, like how you had like an immediate like thought of what it was. Was just another God thing to me, because when you start doubting stuff, you're like, you start going in your head, start being like, well, maybe I should have done, maybe I da 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 da, and then people around you, it's like God shows you things, but then even with those people, you're like, well, those are my people.
They tell me what I want to hear.
They're gonna tell me. In my mind, I'm like, they're gonna tell me like that, this, and that, because they love me or whatever. But it's things like meeting new people and them seeing who you are already from just talking, and then being like, no, bro, this is what it is. I can see that. I don't even know who you are. And like,
Right.
and so that's what I love about this kind of stuff. Because honestly, man, like I was not in the mood. Like there's some crap going on, and I was like, I want to be a good like person with them. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go down there, because I feel like I'm going to be in a bad mood. But I felt like God was like, just go down there and hang with the boys. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I'm glad it came.
Yeah.
Glad it came.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate
love
you
that,
guys.
man.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. I think on the next pod, we would love to bring Nicole too. Yeah,
yeah.
both of you guys on here. I think we get some really good stuff between the two of you, and you see your guys' dynamic and how your relationship has blossomed. What I love about her is that I only met her once, but I think because she trusts your words, you just told her who we were, and it almost felt like I had already known her and stuff. So it was
Right.
really cool that she's so like has that big trust in you. Karina's the
Yeah.
same way, where I'll
Yeah.
explain to her how Leo is, and she already feels like she knows him,
Yeah.
So it's very cool. So I think the
Her
next one, I would
story's
love to have
crazy.
both of you
Yeah.
guys on here. I'm sure you think she'd be open to it.
Yeah, she'd be
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wouldn't give us that face that she gave you the first time.
She might.
She might.
I mean, I'm not going to speak for her. That's what I'm not going to do. That's what I've learned in marriage. No, real quick though, have you guys done you guys' origin stuff here on the podcast? Because I don't really know you, Leo. Like, so what is your like?
That's a
how
great
did
question,
you
bro.
start?
So I'm Middle Eastern.
Oh,
So
okay.
A little bit about my background. Was born and raised in Orange, California, but I left to the Middle East when I was 11, and I came back when I was 27.
Where?
Palestine and Jordan.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm Palestinian Jordanian, and I spent
So you got your pair of Jordans away
Oh,
a long time ago.
the real, like legit, like the ones in the sand.
Yeah. I was
But-
baptized in the Sea of Galilee.
Wow.
Yeah. We lived in
awesome.
Israel. Yeah.
Did you live there?
We lived there for like about 6 to 8 months. Like there was like a random, my family was like, we feel like God wants us to go over there, and we went over there.
Wow.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because I've been thinking about pitching for him to be in an episode where now, because I was episode 1. So I would want him to sit down, because I'm still getting to know
I was
Leo.
just thinking about it. I was like,
I've
who
known him
is this guy?
I've known him less than 2 months.
Yeah.
Logan, I've only known him for
You
such a
guys
short
can't see
period
the
of time.
camera, but under he was feeling my ankle over here. 'Cause he wasn't.
So I'm still getting to know him, and every single time he tells me something, I'm like, man, this guy's interesting, man. People are
Yeah.
gonna want. And every single time we do sit with a guest, and he says something just random, and they're like, whoa, I didn't know that. Oh, this guy, like,
Yeah.
what? Like, who is he? And like, yeah, so he has a really cool backstory.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sorry
Thank
to
you, bro.
interrupt.
Thank
So
No, yeah.
Went to there.
So went to the Middle East, lived the whole entire
and
lifetime. there.
why? Because your parents were
My
just like,
parents
we're
are
gonna-
Middle Eastern,
okay.
and
Both of them.
Both of them.
Okay.
Yes, both of them. And my father wanted me to, in Arabic culture, culture is a big thing. It's not something you let go of.
Mhm.
You can evolve and you can translate. Are we good on time?
A little bit, yeah.
I'll crush it.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm not
No.
trying to say it for you. Yeah,
no.
for me, yeah. I
Tell
have
me.
a little bit of a.
What do we got to do?
I gotta.
We gotta
do a
wrap it
little
up?
Shoot, yeah.
Okay, then
Yeah.
let me wrap it up. Yeah.
Now
So
I feel bad now.
No,
God.
I want to know, because if anything, this is a trailer for the.
A trailer for your
What just
episode.
happened? Exactly, a trailer for my episode.
Okay.
But yeah, lived in the Middle East. Culture is a big thing for Middle Eastern people, especially if you're Muslim, and there's a religious dimension to it. Go there, live there most of my life. Come back as an adult. Went into an entirely different career path in the Middle East. Come here and completely shift gears into the creative world. I was in a deeply scientific world, which we'll definitely get into, but got into the creative world. And it was literally, man, the passion I have talking to you today, like discovering stories and the revealing of these things, like this stuff doesn't come out in a corporate world.
Right.
This stuff doesn't come out. Like this is a very strange human need, which is a human want, not a need. Because like a lot of people, this is a want. I want to talk to you. I may not need to, but I want to. There's a want. It's a desire, an extra desire.
Which we don't do much of when you start getting paid. Yeah.
We start losing that. And that's the whole, this thin line between
constant battle,
passion and that. But yeah, and then the last thing I'm going to say about my experience is that I feel very blessed because I have the communication skills and the ability to connect with people in America as if I was born and raised here my whole life. Like everyone thinks I'm white.
I wouldn't have known. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone thinks I'm just born and raised here, been here forever. At the same time, I have the grit, the compassion, the empathy of an immigrant. And I feel like those things together, like give me a superpower here in the US. Cause it's like, I can run around the household talking everything, but then I can take everything off and sit on the ground. Like sometimes I'll sit with like a homeless dude and just listen to him, like sit on the ground and just be 100% connected, 0. Cause I've been in places where even he's privileged compared to places where I've been.
Definitely.
So it's like, definitely. I appreciate my journey a lot, bro. And thank you so much for bringing that up. Thank you so much for asking, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, I think, this is we're going to have you on again. A million %.
Sure.
And I know there's going to be an invoice and we're ready to pay. We're going to pay for the second one as well. We're paying for both. We're paying for both. And of course, royalties on the song.
I heard they say they do free shoots. So this is... They're not going to be able to afford it. No.
But Logan, thank you so much for being here, brother.
Course, man.
Really, this is one for the books. Such a special episode to me.
Yeah. It really
and
was.
I can't wait to have you on again, brother.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great time. Didn't know I was going to get as emotional. That's because my back. My chiropractor needs. No, but thank you guys. It actually was almost therapeutic, right?
100% therapeutic. Kidding me? Yeah, therapy straight up.
Yeah.
And almost a reminder of why we do what we do, which that was cool going down memory lane. Thanks for bringing up your memories too, man.
Of course,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
For everything.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.